chance to be reading out this book for all of you. Thank you. Grateful to the universe for giving me this inspiration to do it. And I'm just the medium trying to read out. So if I do any mistake while reading, please forgive me. And if you find this information, this inspiration which I'm sharing, do share it with your loved one to inspire them to learn and know more about nature cure. I will also express my gratitude to my teacher, Arun Sharma ji. He is the grandson of Lakshman Sharma, whose book I am reading. And I am also grateful for the place where I got exposed to nature cure. It is a place in near Polachi, Akarma.life, and from there I got the chance to learn nature cure. And I'm not an expert in nature cure. I'm just a learner in this field. So with this, I'll start the third chapter today. We have read before this chapter 1 and chapter 2. The chapter first, in the first session, I read it out. It was the Divine Science of Health, and there I gave the introduction of Lakshman Sharma about this book, about basic of nature cure. So please do check the first recording. In the second day, the basic dharma we read, and today I'm going to read about druglessness, which is the third chapter in this book. So this chapter is from page number 24 to 37. As shared in the earlier video, I'm not reading the whole book because this is a fat book. I'm reading out some portion which I felt connected to. This is just to give you an insight, a glimpse about the book and about what is shared in the book. If you feel inspired to learn more about nature cure and know what is there in this chapter, please do read this book. It's like a Bible of nature cure. So the first chapter, druglessness. It has been stated before that what is bad for a healthy is also bad for a sick. No one claims that drugs are good for healthy. Extensive observation has proved, if proof be necessary, that drugs are ruinous to health in long run, and that drug patient becomes steadily less and less curable as days pass. Hence, all forms of drugging must be given up first. Then alone can one take to nature cure, whether simply for health culture or for the cure of disease. It is also necessary that the renunciation of other system and the acceptance of this science should be the final and for life. So the main thing which I am taking out from this whole portion is whatever is bad for the healthy person is also bad for the sick person, and whatever is good for the healthy person, what is the food for the healthy person is good food for the sick as well. So if you can't eat anything when you are healthy, we can't eat that and do that while we are sick. Now, drugs are an assimilable foreign matter, poisonous in very nature, though in different degrees. Sometimes they are immediately fatal, always they are ruinous to health. And this is true. In whatever way the drug find entrance into the body, they may get into through contamination of food from metallic cooking vessels, through contact with metals in occupation, or by medication. The giving of a drug by a licensed poisoner doesn't change its real nature. So drug in whatever form we are consuming and whatever form it is knowingly and unknowingly getting into our body, all have a similar kind of impact in our body. And the nature of these drugs doesn't change. This is what the author is trying to say in here. And this is my interpretation again. There is a law of nature regarding effects called the law of dual effect, which was first stated clearly by Dr. Lindler. Every cause has two effects, an immediate and a remote one. The former is transient, the latter is more or less permanent and is always opposite of the immediate effect. The real effect is remote effect and not the immediate one. If the immediate effect seem to be good, the remote effect is evil. Also, if the immediate effect be seemingly evil or unpleasant, the remote or real effect will be both good and pleasant. So now I've skipped a little portion. I'm going to page number 27. The medical use of these drugs, violent drug, is due to their ignorance of the basic truth about disease, whose ignorance is about the medical system they are telling. So the medical use of these violent drugs is due to their ignorance of the basic truth about disease known in nature cure, namely that disease is not a foreign entity invading the body without, but a vital process initiated by the nature herself. Through the disease process, life is making an effort to re-establish lost health. So we always feel that externally some virus, something from outside is coming and impacting our body, like a foreign material which is invading our body, and that is causing a disease. But disease is nothing. It is a process initiated by the body to claim the life back, the lost essence of life back in ourselves. Seeking to stop diseases by violence is therefore making a war on the human constitution, as was remarked by Dr. Trall, a medically qualified lover of truth, who later discarded allopathy and became an advocate of nature cure. So when we are forcefully trying to remove the disease from our body, we are actually we are in a war zone. Disease are not many. There is only one disease all through the life from birth to death. But this one disease appears again and again out of an inward abnormal condition, each time having a new form, and each time doctor give it a new name. Each time it merges into its cause, the inward condition, and reappears from out of it. But with a progressive change in the outward features and symptom of the disease, in the degree of its seriousness and in the difficulty of its radical cure. This progressive change falls into three distinct categories or stages. In the first stage, the disease is of the kind called acute. It is transient. In this stage, there is a considerable degree of health and of vitality. It is possible to cure them radically by removing the cause, the internal condition. Such is a power possible only in a natural way. It is not at all possible by drugging, nor by any other method, which does not consist in making the amends for the past sins and reforming one's mode of life afterward. Usually, acute diseases are suppressed by medical violence, whereby the disease is driven in to merge into its cause, the abnormal condition. In this process, the abnormality of that condition is greatly increased, and hence worse and more difficult disease forms arise of it, leading the patient to the second stage. Now, the diseases are apparently milder, but they are more deep rooted and obstinate. These are called chronic diseases. The same mode of vital treatment being followed, the third stage is reached of destructive diseases. Medicos call them degenerative diseases. For a long time, there has been a steady increase in the incidence of these diseases. When this stage is reached, death is near at the hand, but every hour is full of pain, and welcome death doesn't not come soon enough. So the author is saying there is not like we have so many names to the disease, but all the disease are just one, and only one disease is coming again and again. If we are just symptomatically working on this and trying to eradicate without working on the root condition. So the first stage, it is coming in the acute form, and when we are suppressing that, maybe we are feeling that the symptoms have reduced, but they are deep rooted, and then it is coming in form of a chronic stage. When we similarly follow a treatment where we are again suppressing it, it turns out to be a degenerative disease where there, like according to medicals, there is no cure, and death is the next inevitable part of it. Nature cure alone can cause a reversal of this progress from health to an incurable disease and premature death after a period of intolerable suffering. Even after the destructive stage is reached, it is possible for the victim to lead back to health. By following nature cure, the author is saying even if you have reached the very end, the last stage, you can come back to the stage of health and happiness. If and only if that person discards the medicos and takes refuge in nature, when he completely surrender to the nature and allow the nature to take care of the healing process that is going on. Now the progress is backward towards health, and hence it is called retrogression of disease. At first, the patient goes from destructive to a non-fatal chronic stage, and later from this to an acute state, and finally to health. So I will just shorten this whole thing which they are saying by saying, like, the first stage being suppose station A, the second stage, the chronic stage being station B, and the final stage destructive being station C. So if somebody has reached from station A, like 0 to stay A to B and then C, so the coming back path will be similar. The person has to from C, that person will come to B and then to A and then to the initial state of health and happiness. So the path is always the same, but yes, the impact will be not like as much as that it has happened while it has progressed. Like the time might not be same, maybe it progressed by many years, but if you completely surrender in a lesser time with lesser pain, maybe you can travel the whole path back. Drugging is equally against nature, whether the drug is used externally or internally. If the drug used penetrate into the body and get lodged in some of the vital organ of the tissues. So when we are using externally some drugs, they are going inside the body, penetrating and inside the body and getting stored in the vital organ or the tissues of our body. So the author is asking not to use any drugs, whether it is externally, like in a form of ointment or something else, or have it in like inside, swallow it out. Now let's see what the author is trying to say about surgical interference. Surgery, due to inability of the medicos to give any relief by medication, is as a rule improper. It is a violent interference with the order of nature. In particular, the removal of organ or a part of the body such as appendix, the tonsils and so on is positively criminal. The removal of the teeth, which is now a routine procedure on the plea that the teeth are the foci of infection and are thus causing disease of the other part, is a serious mistake. Sick death can be restored to health and made serviceable as before. Nature is a far more skillful surgeon than the medicos. She knows how to detach and remove a decayed part without the least danger to the life, without any infection of the surrounding healthy part. For example, even in the case of gangrene, where a part of the body begins to rot, nature affects a separation of the rotting part without affecting the adjoining healthy tissue, where boneless portion are thus got rid of, they may grow up again as before. In any case, it is a part of wisdom to give a fair trial to the nature way before restoring to surgery. Again, they are saying like how Mother Nature is the best form of the surgeon and how it can easily remove the things which are not needed without impacting the neighboring part. And when we restore the nature, even things which are not working can be brought back into action. Then the author has quoted a lot of doctors and their experience, like Dr. Sir William Arbuthnot Lane, Dr. Landher, Dr. Ellinson, Dr. Ellen Chaudhary. After that, there is an extract from the lecture by Dr. B. P. Ellinson, MRCS, LRCP on unnecessary operations, and the author has almost taken some 3-4 pages to share about the extract which is written over there. And finally, I go to the conclusion, which is in the last paragraph. In conclusion, we say that allopathic treatment consists in fighting disease. This policy is absurd because disease is only a alias for the fall in one's health level, which can be set right only by measures for raising the health level. In hygienic practice, disease are not fought against. This fighting is a quickery, which hygienic condition condemns. Hygienic science condemns. So one of the line I get reminded, disease and health is one. That is not separate. Disease is like when health is not there, the absence of health is disease. So disease is a form basically to come back to the healthier self. So we should not be fearful about it. We should not fight, but we should understand that as a reminder that we have fallen from the track of abiding the nature law. All we need to do is to get back, restore and surrender back to the nature, and then we can come back on track. With this, I complete the chapter 3rd. If I have done any mistake or if I have wrongly interpreted any of the part, please forgive me. And if you feel this was worth it and inspired you, please do share it in your network. The only reason to create this series is to inspire people and let them aware of the science nature cure. And I hope this inspires you to read this book and learn more about nature cure. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Have a healthy life. Bye bye. Take care.